in. It is time for Bet On It, the Monday Night Football edition, and a very happy and safe holiday, we certainly hope and wish you and yours. Kelly is on a little sabbatical right now, a little vacation, and it's very well-deserved. However, she'll be back in time for the Wednesday edition this week. Until then, of course, you're stuck with us as we welcome in Marco D'Angelo and the Stat Daddy himself, Mr. Ralph Michaels. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, gentlemen. Hope Santa treated you well this weekend. Marco, in fact, how did it work out for you this weekend?
Well, Joe, other than, the New England game on Sunday, and I hate kickers. I know you didn't like that either, but
nope.
It's how one missed extra point ends up costing 4 points in the game. And, they lost by 4, and, they were getting 3. That didn't work out well. But nonetheless, good weekend, family and stuff, holidays. And, Joe, I know you had a very good show last week here, and you killed it. Congrats to you, and I give you a lot of grief about being a slacker and only showing up for the first halves and, stuff. But let's say, there's the glass is either half full or half empty. I could either say
Amen.
You're a slacker or you're very efficient with your time and you get the job done in 30 minutes instead of a full game.
You are much more accurate with the whole slacker comment there, Marco, but thank you. No, it was a good show there. Ralph Michaels, my man, welcome back in. How was the weekend? Anything crazy go on in the Michael household?
No, quiet weekend here in Vegas for me. I did have a 5% loser yesterday on Green Bay and Miami over the total. I tweeted out, I went to the database. When NFL teams have scored 33 points or more in the first half, 95% of those have gone over the total. It's not how you start, it's how you finished. Unfortunately, a loser for me. Still, a great NFL season, 69%. And let's not forget, I know Marco's got an NBA play up today. He's on a 17-3 run. I have an NBA play as well. Since the start of the 2021 season, number 1 in profit, number 1 in NBA win percentage, over 60% the last 2 years.
No, fantastic stuff, guys. And, of course, $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. Both these gentlemen, Marco crushing it in the NBA on a 17-3 run, $9 best bet in the association tonight. And so does Ralph, who happens to be the number 1 most profitable handicapper at WagerTalk in the association over the last couple of years. So opportunities presenting themselves not just in the NFL, but, of course, in the NBA. So let's take a look at this final game of Week 16, if we can, tonight. And it's going to be, speaking of that 33-loss blowout there, blowing it. How about Indianapolis? They're going to be hosting the Chargers here tonight. 3.5 is what we're seeing now. 44.5. This has obviously come down 4.5 to start the week. We're obviously seeing that go away. Now it's the field goal and the hook, Marco. Total of 44.5. Who are you looking at in this one tonight?
Well, Joe, this is one of those spots where if this was not the Monday night football game and it was just another game on Sunday amidst the rest of the card, I wouldn't even be looking at this game. Now, I'm not saying I'm looking at it because it's a TV game and we're there to try to make a sale. That's not the case because I don't have a play up on the site with the game. What I'm talking about is the fact that when you've got a team that's got nothing to play for like the Colts, you always got a handicap motivation. Well, one of those motivating factors, we talk about it all the time, is a bad team playing on a Thursday night, a Sunday night, or a Monday night standalone game. They're going to be most likely more up to put up a good performance even though they have nothing to play for. Nobody likes to be embarrassed. And, well, the Colts, the last 2 games, could they be any more embarrassed than they were? Let's go 2 games back, which was 3 weeks ago. It was a Sunday night. They're playing the Cowboys. They're playing them toe-to-toe. They head to the fourth quarter as a double-digit underdog, only losing by 2, 21-19. Let's hit the fast forward to the final score. Somehow it ended up 54-19. They got outscored by 33 points in the fourth quarter. Well, good thing for them, they had the following week off. It was their bye week. They could fix everything that was wrong. So Jeff, Saturday went under the hood. And, he tinkered, and they come out last week against the Minnesota Vikings. 33-0 out of the gate. They're rolling, they're laughing, yucking it up on the sidelines. Good game. Minnesota, all the math guys are jumping up and down because they've been saying for the last how many weeks that Minnesota's a total fraud. And, well, they were 33-0 until they weren't. And then Minnesota come rolling back, ended up winning the game 39-36 in the biggest collapse by an NFL team in the history of the NFL. So I would want no parts of this team. I said, they're done. I don't want to see them anymore. But here we are, Monday Night Football. We got to look at them. And I expect a spirited effort out of them. What else can they do? They can play spoiler. The Chargers need the game. They can't afford to lose any games trying to get into the playoffs. They're making a quarterback switch. Poor Matt Ryan. He's been benched for the rest of the season for the second time this year. I thought you could only be benched for the rest of the season once, but apparently not. Enter Nick Foles. And this is what Nick Foles does good. He comes in as a backup for a couple games and plays good, and then everybody thinks that he's a starter and somebody might sign him. I'm going to take this game. If I have to play the game, I'm looking at Indianapolis. I can't lay points with the Chargers. We always talk about defense. If you can give me the better defense, getting points, I'm going to look that way. I know the collapses the last 2 second halves by the Colts don't look like a good defense, but the season-long numbers say they are a better defense than the Chargers. Yards per play, they're ninth defensively on the season, and the Chargers can't stop the run. No Jonathan Taylor tonight, but last week in his absence, the backup did play well, finally getting a start with the Colts or getting some actual playing time. So I look for the Colts to keep this close. And remember, when the Chargers do win, they don't win by a margin. They've got 8 wins on the season. 7 of them have been single digits, and 5 of them have been 3 points or less. I got to play it. If I'm playing, I'm taking the Colts plus the points.
All right. Colts plus the points for Marco. Ralph, who better on Christmas weekend to give away, the game than jolly old Saint Nick here? How much faith you got in Nick Foles tonight taking the helm?
Well, I went to the database, of course. I looked at teams that had a halftime lead of 17 or more and lost the game. They've gone 16, 15, and 1. So I thought maybe an embarrassed team would bounce back the next, 51.6%. I do have one system that I have to apply, some TNA, and I do apologize for those that viewed into this Monday night edition and were expecting to see Kelly and saw me. I know it's scary as shit, but let's try to make it up with some good info. Teams that won at home, like the Chargers, are now an away favorite facing an opponent that had allowed over 400 yards. Marco talked about the Colts against the Vikings. They allowed 518 yards. So teams that are an away favorite, like the Chargers, that won their last game at home against an opponent that allowed over 400 yards, 62.5%, a very strong situation on the Chargers. Marco also mentioned Nick Foles good in this spot. Well, look at last year. Nick Foles started one game. He sat the first 14 weeks of the season. He played game number 15 against Chicago. They go on the road. He is 24 of 35 for 250 yards. Chicago beat Seattle. Guess what? The year prior, he sat the first 2 games. Started game 3 on the road against Atlanta. Guess what? His team beat Atlanta 30-26. So that will back up what Marco's stats have said. But I still do like the Chargers in this situation. And, Joe, if you're going to go first half, I apologize for stealing your thunder. There's a huge dichotomy in the first half. On defense, the teams are tied. Both teams are allowing 11.8 points per game in the first half. But on offense, The LA Chargers are number 5 in the NFL, averaging 14.5 points per game in the first half. Indy is number 30, allowing 8.1 points per game. So you have a quarterback making his first start. I expect a slow start against the Chargers, who are accustomed to getting off to quick starts. Give me the Chargers in the first half. And I did do a rare player prop. This is my first regular season NFL player prop ever. Marco said, find a play, a first half, a second half, a player prop. So I look at Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer is the Chargers' number 2 receiver. We know Mike Williams is the go-to, but Palmer actually has more targets than Williams. The number is 32.5. In the last 8 games, he has topped 32.5 yards every game. He's had 58, 45. He's had 49, 53, 60, 56, 106, 44, and 106. He has averaged 66.4 yards per game, and this is half of what he's averaged in that span. You look at the Chargers' rush offense, it's been non-existent. Herbert has thrown the ball 47 times per game the last 4 games. Colts' rush defense better than their pass defense. Herbert's going to pass the ball. Palmer, an incredibly cheap number. I actually did release this to my clients. Josh Palmer over 32.5 receiving yards, and I'll do the LA Chargers first half.
All right, going to the first half, man after my own heart there, Marco, banging out a first half play here on the Chargers. And I'll add to what's going on here with both of these guys and what they have said. We've got a problem with this Chargers team, and the problem lies in the second half, more specifically the third quarter. They've now gone 9 straight games without scoring a touchdown. And Marco brought up the fact that they don't win games by margin, and that is a big reason as to why they don't win games by margin. It's because they've been outscored 175 to 109 in the second half and overtime games this year. They just, for some reason, teams are able to make the adjustments at the half, and they are able to slow down and keep this Chargers team from hitting the end zone and building off whatever lead they may have from the first half. So I am in agreement with Ralph here. I do think the first half absolutely worth a look with the Chargers, but keeping with that theme, with Nick Foles and, having jolly old St. Nick there, I do think 22.5 might be a little too high in the first half of this game, 22.5 points, because going to take Indy maybe a little while to get going, and we know their defense, prideful group, they're going to make a lot of long, drawn-out drives for Herbert, make him play hero here today. He'll have some success early, but this is all about looking for a second half bet as well in that game. Keep it in mind. So I'm going to go under 22.5 in the first half of this primetime Monday night game between the Chargers and the Colts. And don't forget, guys, $9 Monday here, WagerTalk.com. Both Marco and Ralph have plays for $9 in the association tonight. Marco on a 17-3 lead. Ralph, the #1 most profitable NBA handicapper at Wager Talk here over the last couple of years. Head over there, grab those plays, and of course, we got one more game before we wrap up Week 16. We'll be back Wednesday to talk about Week 17 here. Kelly Stewart will be back in his chair. Hope she's having a wonderful time in some sort of undisclosed location in the world. Only Marco knows, but he won't tell us. Either way, guys, we appreciate it. Best of luck with all your plays here tonight. We'll see you again Wednesday. Until then, let's bet on it.
The Gold Sheet wants you to end the 2022 football season on a winning note while getting a head start on planning for the next season. Founded in 1957, the Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter, and has served bettors for over 6 decades. So if between 1957 and now, if you have not checked out the Gold Sheet, here's your chance to see what you have been missing out on at a huge discount. Each weekly edition of the Football Gold Sheet is normally $15, but for the holidays, you can get every edition from now through Super Bowl 57 for just a total of $19. If you like what you see, take advantage of the super early bird pricing for next year by locking in your Football Gold Sheet subscription for 2023 for just $99. You will receive every college football and NFL edition for next season for just $99. plus a free 59 credit to use towards Gold Sheet's LTS picks at WagerTalk. Instructions for redeeming your WagerTalk credit will be sent shortly after your purchase. Just go to goldsheet.com, click the Buy Now button, choose a 2022 football Gold Sheet for $19, and lock yourself in through the Super Bowl 57.